Good morning, children. Today we shall learn about the laws of reflection. Now you know how different types of mirror form images through the reflection of light. A mirror can change the direction of light that falls on it. But does the reflected ray of light go in any direction? Let us find it out. We fix a white sheet on a drawing board. Now hold a comb or a black paper strip perpendicular to the paper, that is the white sheet. Next, throw light from a torch on the base of the comb or the paper, whichever you have used. Now, adjust in such a way to get a ray of light along the paper on the other side. Now, reflect that light by putting a mirror in the path of the ray. As you can observe, after striking the mirror, the ray of light is reflected in another direction. The ray of light which strikes the mirror surface is called incident ray, and the ray which comes back from the surface after reflection is called the reflected ray. Now, let us draw lines showing the position of mirror, the incident ray and the reflected ray on the paper. Next, remove the mirror. Now, we draw a perpendicular on the line representing mirror at the point where incident ray strikes the mirror. This line is known as the normal to the reflecting surface at that point. Here we see angle I, which is the angle between the normal and the incident ray, is called angle of incidence. Angle R, which is the angle between the normal and the reflected ray, is called angle of reflection. So, I is angle of incidence, R is angle of reflection. Wait, look at the angles carefully. Also, if you measure, they both are approximately of same magnitude. Yes, the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection are equal. If this experiment is carried out very carefully, then it can be easily shown that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. So now you know one of the laws of reflection, which says the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Actually, this is the second law of reflection. What would happen if you throw the light on the mirror along the normal, that is at 90 degrees? Here, the incident ray is making 0-degree angle with the normal. So, the reflected ray would do the same. That is, reflected ray would also come back along the normal too. So we can say here the angle of incidence is equal to 0 and angle of reflection is also equal to 0, as both of them coincide with the normal. So in this case too, the law of reflection holds true. That is, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Now, let us understand what another law of reflection says. When the whole sheet of paper is spread on the table, it represents one plane. So here, the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all are in this plane. Now, let us bend the paper on one side. When we bend the paper, we create a plane which is different from the plane in which the incident ray and the normal lie. In this case, we do not see the reflected ray. What can we conclude? This means the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane. This is another law of reflection. In fact, this is the first law of reflection, which says the incident ray, the normal at the point of incidence and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane. So now you know the laws of reflection. The incident ray, reflected ray and the normal drawn at the point of incidence to the reflecting surface lie in the same plane. Secondly, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. That's all for now. Bye bye children.